All right, today we'll be doing lab 6-5. As you can see, we're back on the VMware for University of Arkansas, and we are within Excel because we'll be using the SQL Server to get data. So first things first, we'll go over to data and we'll get data from database and SQL Server database. Same server that we've been using all the times before. And we're doing Dillard's again. We're going to be putting in a SQL statement as well. All right, so essentially what we're doing here is we're selecting the transaction date, the transaction type, the state, the store that it's coming from. We're going to sum the transaction amount and recall it amount. We're going to pull this from the transact table. We're going to inner join with the store table and we're going to inner join it on transact on the store column and transact, equaling the store column in store. Then we're going to group by transaction date, transaction type, state, and store. And then we're going to order them by transaction date. All right, now we're going to click OK. Here we are. So we have this data. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and transform the data. And just like in that we did in lab 6-4, we're going to do the pivot column on the transaction type. And we're going to do the amount again. So now we have the purchases amount and the returns amount for that date, for that state, and for the stores. Right now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and close and load. It'll load in all the data. This may take a while, so I'll take you out of the way. All right, so all the data got loaded in here. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and save this into our documents on the VMware. We're going to save it as lab 6-5. All right. All right, now we're going to go ahead and minimize this, and we'll go head over to Tableau. And this might take a while. Oh, there we go. We'll skip this update. So we're going to import our file that we just made on Excel. So lab 6-5 here. I'll go ahead and open it up. All right, and here we can see all of our data. All right, so we got our data loaded in here. And so now what we want to do is we're going to create a calculated field within Tableau. So we're going to come over here and we're just going to click calculated field. We're going to name it R over P, kind of what we did with our last one in 6-4. And just like in 6-4, we're going to go ahead and do sum of R divided by sum of P. All right, and so that's just telling us that we're going to sum up everything in R for that and sum up everything, and we're going to click. All right, and so we can see down here that this calculation is valid, so we know that it'll work, and we're going to click OK. And we can see here that we have now created a calculated field over here. We're going to go ahead and pull in our state data in here, so that way we can show our states. There, so we can see our states in here. All right, and next we're going to go ahead and add in our purchases, so we can see here. So now we can see our purchases by state. Another way to think of this is sales by state. So these are the amount that we have sold in each state. And then we're going to go ahead and rename our sheet sales by state. All right, so now we've done that. In order to save time and not have to do it again, we're going to duplicate it again. We're going to duplicate that tab, but we're going to remove our sum, and we're going to draw our RMP under color. So now we can see it's color coded here. We also want to go ahead and turn this into a fill map as well, instead of just a dot map, because it's a little bit easier to see just see the difference whenever we have it as a fill map rather than the dots. So we can see here all that. And then we can see here that we have the aggregated R over P by state, and we have it color coded as well. All right, and so we're going to go ahead, now that we've done that, we're going to rename this to our returns percentage by state. And we're going to create a new worksheet, and we're going to throw our transaction date into our rows over here. And so we can actually break this out by year, quarter, and month. And we can even break it out into day if we want, but that's a little too much. And so we want just the month. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take these out and remove them from here. So now we have just the months here. And then we're going to double click our RP, so it adds it in here to our aggregated and our marks. So now we can see the aggregated RP by month. And we're actually going to go ahead and change this over to a highlight table, which is going to be in our top right up here. And so now we can see that we have it in color and in text. So now we can see, you know, our highest month of returns is January. And so it's our darkest color. And as we move into less and less, we can see here. And y'all can see, y'all might notice that whenever we chose our highlight table, it moved our month up to columns. You can move it back down to rows if you want. It just kind of depends on personal preference, whether you like it to have it in columns or to have it in rows. It's just a simple drag and drop into either one. And you can see here, so it doesn't make too much of a difference. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a dashboard. So we're going to come over here and we're going to click create a new dashboard. And then we're going to go ahead and drag our sales by state over here. And we're going to alter this a little bit. So we're going to make this a little bit smaller. If we can. So make this smaller so that way you can see that. And then we're going to drag our returns over here. We're going to drag this down some so we can see that there. All right. And then we'll just drag our sheet 3 right here. We're actually going to move this up if we can. Not that far. We want it right there. Oh. Okay. I see where our problem is. So move that up. Shrink that down. And that way, we'll make it a little bit smaller. And then we'll drag it up here. Nope. We didn't want that. Undo that. I think we'll just leave it as it is. No, we won't. We're going to. There we go. So now we have our sheet 3, our returns by percentage by state. We have our population up there, and then we have our sales by state over here on the left. All right, and last thing we'll do on lab 6-5 is, so we can see here, we'll use this as filter on our returns percentage by state. So that essentially means that this is going to be our master table. So if we ever choose something here, right here, so we'll see here now that we selected it on this, it's selected it over here, and it's changed this to be for the state of Texas. If we click Utah, we can see it changes to Utah, and it changes this as well. So as we just kind of click on this table, we can kind of change and see everything on the other tables as well by just clicking this and making it our master table and using it as the filter. With that concludes lab 6-5. Thank you very much.